Hello, and welcome to today's episode of 219 GreenConnect, where we explore topics about the environment and green living in Northwest Indiana. For past show archives, news, and upcoming events, please check out our website at 219greenconnect.com or join us on Facebook or Twitter. Our ID on both Facebook and Twitter is 219 GreenConnect. You can also subscribe to this podcast via iTunes. I am your host, Kathy Sipple, and with me today I have the CEO at Green Research here in Valparaiso, Jennifer Shelhart. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you.
And I met Jennifer via Facebook, so I really do appreciate social networking for me to become aware of and, better facilitate introductions into, green initiatives going on locally. And I think your initiative is about one of the most interesting I've ever heard, and it's a little bit complex. So why don't I turn it over to you and let you explain exactly what you do at Green Research?
Okay. Well, we start by taking computers that would otherwise be sent to landfill, computers that are outdated or people don't use anymore or may be broken, and we put them to use, running research for cancer and other illnesses as well. But we use a program that we got from Berkeley University called BOINC, and BOINC is BOINC, stands for Berkeley Open Infrastructure for Networked Computing. So we run these programs on the computers for a couple of reasons. One, to keep them out of the landfills, and two, to help find a cure faster.
And am I correct in understanding that you also use some green energy to run your computers, or is that's a goal of your organization?
No, we actually are.
You are? Okay.
We purchased green energy from NIPSCO.
Okay.
It's a new program that they actually have now. They've had it out for a little while now, and you pay a little bit more for it, but we figured since we're running so many machines and we're trying to stay a green business, that we should be using an energy that's, lower effect on the ecosystem. So.
Right. Well, I love it. So are you guys actually, are you a for-profit or are you a not-for-profit? What is your classification?
We are a non-for-profit.
Not-for-profit. Okay. Well, that's just amazing. So people just find out about you and they donate their computers that they would otherwise probably end up dumping?
Yeah, a lot of times people have computers sitting in their garage because they just don't know what to do with them.
Mm-hmm.
They may still be working but may just be slow. I mean, how many people got new technology for Christmas because it's the latest, greatest thing, but maybe their old computer is still working? So they don't really know what to do with them, and we take them to, do good with them to try to find a cure for cancer or, lupus, or there's really so many different illnesses that we're actually researching.
It's just amazing. So, and if I understand correctly, because we had a little time to talk about this, you said that the average Joe, even not running off of your network, can donate their computers downtime to this big computing effort through Berkeley. Is that also right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and that's actually how we started. My husband and I were using our computers at home, running this program, and again, it's called BOINC, and you can get it right from, actually, if you go to our website, green-research.org, I have a link to BOINC, so anyone can actually go through my website to get to theirs, and you can download their software. And when you're not using your computer at home, like when you go to bed at night, let's say, your computer is not being put to use, it goes to sleep. Well, instead of it doing that, the software will actually put it to work running data packets for Berkeley. So
that is really just incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, and we were doing that. We were doing that before we got started, and then I had watched a video, the 60-minute episode of, it's called Wasteland, about computers that were, people thought they were recycling their computers and they were turning them into this recycler who was actually selling freightfuls of computers to the highest bidder, who happened to be these gangs in China who were doing horrible things with the computers, burning them and releasing toxins into their water stream and into the ground. And I was so horrified by what was going on that I thought to myself, there's got to be a better way to use these computers, because in most cases people get rid of their computers because they're not fast enough or they're not updated enough, not because they're not working. And
right.
even when they're not working, a lot of times it's just a hard drive problem, and we really have no use for the hard drive. We're just using the processor.
Okay.
So why are we recycling these computers when they could be put to use doing this BOINC process? So
right.
that's why
right.
I started doing it.
So that's what awakened your consciousness about this first was, how did you find out about BOINC? Do you remember that?
Actually, word of mouth. Somebody, I think, mentioned it to my husband, and he is a very tech-savvy person, so that was all very exciting to him to be part of a supercomputer, because BOINC is actually, instead of using a gigantic computer to run their research, they're actually utilizing people's computers across the nation as if it was one giant computer. So it's right. The idea of that alone is just fascinating, especially to him. So we were doing that just to be a part of that. But then when I found out about the eWaste problem that we have, I thought, well, why not put these two things together and use these old computers to do the research as well and contribute to BOINC.
That is just great. I mean, so is that your unique model? Did you have any other model to build off of, or are you, as far as you know, the first person to put those ideas together?
Actually, when I first had watched that video and was so upset by what was going on and thought to myself, why can't we just, why isn't there someone out? Why isn't there a better way? I looked to see if there was someone out there that was taking these computers, instead of being a recycler, being more of a refurbisher or just a reuser. I tried to find companies out there that did this, and I have not yet discovered anyone else that's doing what I'm doing. So that's actually why I decided to do it, because there wasn't anyone out there.
Yeah. Well, even if they are, you blazed your own trail, so kudos to you. That's really very, very pioneering. And your background is not so technical, is that right? You're a photographer primarily?
Yeah,
that was your.
Yeah, okay. I'm an artist. I'm a local photographer here in Valpo, and technology isn't really my thing. It's more my husband's thing, and I kind of stumbled into it through him. He's really the geek, but I have more of an art background, and actually I worked in finance for a very long time before I became a photographer. So technology really never really was my thing. I'm learning as I go, really.
Well, maybe it was part of your artistic, creative mind to, come forth and create something new, and then combine with your husband, and your husband's name is Mark. Maybe you guys make the perfect team to be the ones to do this. So
right.
What does the Shelhart residence look like these days? How many computers do you have clipping along at any given time?
We have not yet hit the 100 mark. Well, you know what, I say that, but we just got a pallet in last week that we haven't actually hooked up yet. Okay. So we may very well have hit the 100 mark. We're very close to it if we haven't. So, yeah, we've got about that many machines running, all on green energy, and we're every day we're donating our spare time right now. This is all volunteer work, so we're using the time that we have outside of our regular jobs and adding more computers to the mix, a little more each day. So
yeah. So if any listeners
right now we're
know of grants or some other resources that could be utilized, that would probably be good information. I mean, that's very admirable you're doing that, but I have to imagine, that's a labor of love.
It is. I mean, we both feel very strongly about, about our cause. So we're doing it because it touches us close to home. We did recently lose someone that we love to cancer, and that's part of the driving force,
Okay. So if you're going to be coming up on the 100 mark, how long have you been at this venture?
Actually, accepting donations, we've been since the mid part of 2012, so about a year. We've been accepting donations.
Okay.
Or I say collections, I should say. But we have had the whole idea going for, it's been over 5 years now. It's been kind of pending and trying to do this in our spare time, actually. We also have 4 children. So doing that and running a household, it's taken this long to finally get it off the ground, So it's been a long time.
So what do the kids think about this idea? Do they understand what's going on?
They're not really old enough. I mean, my oldest is 9, and she kind of understands, but even then, she still doesn't really quite get the whole picture. But she knows that we're a nonprofit and that we're trying to do good. So
all the most important things. Yeah. So what do you think the next steps would be for your growth, or how can people help? I mean, are donations needed of computers, or what do you think you need primarily to get you to your next benchmark?
Well, 2013, I'm primarily focusing on fundraising, and I'm also taking some classes on nonprofit startup. Even though we have already started up, I'm still, I don't know everything there is to know about running a nonprofit, as this is a very new venture for us. So I'm learning, and I'm trying to focus on raising money. That's really what's in the nearest future, because we're doing this out of our home right now. Okay. And while we have the space, we're not going to have the space forever, especially if we're going to be collecting computers by the pallet full like we have been.
Yeah, I'm thinking
we're run out of room.
Would be kind of tough to absorb in most homes.
Yeah. So we're trying to find ways to raise money so that we can get a designated space for green research, so it has its own place. Okay.
And let's just tell people your website one more time. If they want to find out more about you, we'll give them your website. And then also, I know you're on Facebook, so go ahead and give that information.
Yeah, it's green-research.org. That's our website. And there's actually, if anyone is interested in making a donation, there's a donate button right on the front page. You can click there, and you can actually donate through PayPal if you have PayPal. And we're also looking for other ways that you can help. I mean, we're looking for volunteers. If you have a collection, or you want us to collect some computers that you want to divert from landfills, we'd be happy to talk about that as well. You can there's a contact us link. You can contact us in a couple different ways. So.
Okay, great. And then with the green energy, I mean, I'm a little bit curious about that. Is that something that anybody here in Northwest Indiana can do through NIPSCO, or how would one?
Yes, actually, yeah, they I think just in the last year they've started having their green energy program. I don't know all the details about it, but I'm sure that if someone was to contact NIPSCO, they could find out all about it. But yeah, we had the opportunity to actually connect our entire home to green energy, or just part of it. We got the option, and we chose to connect our whole home. So we're completely green energy.
Okay. Do you know if is it solar, wind, or do they specify how the energy is created?
I don't know, but I would imagine that it's a combination of different things, that they've got different other sources connected to the grid. So
yeah. Well, I'll definitely go on the NIPSCO website and do some digging, but yeah, I mean, it sounds like that's about the best option we have right now in this area without going out and installing solar panels or something.
Yeah, we looked around to try to find, other opportunities before NIPSCO had started their program, and we could not find anything other than, us putting up a windmill or something of our own. Yeah. But then luckily, it's like coincidentally around the same time that we got this off the ground, they started their program. So
Okay.
Talk about
Sounds
coincidence.
Like
It all kind
a lot of paths
together.
leading to this moment. And I know you said you'd done quite a bit of research on eWaste, and are there people outside the listening audience, or excuse me, outside of Northwest Indiana, I should say, that may want to do this in their neighborhoods? I'm sure it wouldn't be all that green for people to ship them in from the coast to Northwest Indiana. But if somebody was interested in finding out how to do some of the work that you have done, what resources did you find helpful?
Well, I would say there's two resources that I have that I'm constantly looking back to. One of them is called eStewards, and I have a link to them on my website as well.
Okay.
Down at the bottom of the page, it says Green Links. eStewards, they are a group. They are, I believe they're a nonprofit. They are a community finding green recyclable ways to recycle, I should say, globally responsible ways to recycle. Because, nowadays you really just don't know what happens to your computers after you turn them over to the recycler. You don't really know what that recycler is doing. Well, eStewards does. So they have a connection for people who would like to get rid of their computers, because you can't just throw your computer away. I mean, it can't just go to landfill. There's so many harmful things inside of that computer that are harmful to the earth. So it has to be broken down responsibly. So eStewards, and then the other one is R2, and they're basically a very similar type of organization. So those are two excellent resources for anyone who wants to be eco-conscious. They can find out just about anything they want to know on those sites.
Yeah. Well,
And then, of course, there's...
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, please.
There's also BOINC, Berkeley Open Infrastructure for Network Computing. That's by Berkeley University. That's the program that we're actually running. I have a link to them on my website as well. So that's another huge resource for us. And they can do all types of research, not just illnesses. We kind of stick illnesses just because it's close to our heart, but you can research things like fresh water for communities or places of the world that don't have fresh water. There's research on extraterrestrials. I mean, anything and everything scientific that you can think of, they have a research program for it. So if anyone's interested in helping scientists solve issues, then they can go to BOINC and help do their part to help.
Fascinating. So I guess the thread that would tie all those together is just anything that needs a lot of data or numbers crunched that would tie up computer processors would be a good fit for BOINC.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Good. Well, I definitely want to check that out. Do you know how much extra energy it generally costs if the average person wanted to say donate their computer's downtime? Is it just like you would use for regular computing, or is it somewhat less than that running in the background?
No, it really wouldn't make a big dent in. Do you mean like using their energy wise, like for let's say NIPSCO or whatever?
Right.
No,
exactly.
when we were running BOINC, I was running it on my laptop just when I wasn't using my computer. Like for example, like when I went to bed at night or maybe went to work. It would run for maybe 4 hours at a time. Okay. And it really wasn't making any change to my utility bill.
Okay, good. So again, we'll ask people if they're interested to go to green-research.org, and there are links to many of the resources that we've been talking about. And I'm just curious, too, you said that you've just begun some training on running a nonprofit. Is that a local resource that you'd like to share?
Yeah. I'm actually doing it through the Maryville High School has a program for continued education,
Okay.
And so my classes are right actually at the Maryville High School in the evenings.
Great.
It's once a week for like 6 weeks, and they have a few different classes that you can take. There's a handful of nonprofit classes actually. So when I'm done with the class that I'm taking for nonprofit startup, there's, grant writing and some other classes that I'll be continuing on to. So
Good. Yeah, I wouldn't expect all listeners would necessarily want to go out and duplicate your ideas. So I'm not suggesting that, but I do get a lot of emails.
I hope they do.
Saying, well, I guess that would be good too. You can't take all of them into your space right now, and you do have a passion for keeping them out of landfills. But I get questions a lot, like, hey, I want to do a food waste recycling program, or I want to do biking initiative. How can I get started? So that might be a good resource that people could look into if they're trying to do it as a startup. You went ahead and dove in, but if people are researching ahead of time, that might be a good good training to kind of put yourself through the paces first, if possible. But so what's your vision for green research going down the road? Have you thought about that, or is it just kind of letting it unfold as things happen?
Well, I have hopes for green research in the future that we, become a local employer. I would love to say that we have a facility and that we're running so many computers that we need a technician and that we need, drivers to pick up collections. I'd love to be the next, Goodwill store type company, that we're large enough to employ the community. I don't know, how soon that's going to happen, but that is a huge hope that I have, because then I would not only be a green company, but I'd be helping with some of the, the job problems that we have out there.
Yeah, well, again, I just really admire your gutsiness for putting all these ideas together. And you really got to want it to kind of make that happen in this economy and managing a household with 4 kids. So I think that's very commendable. And, we'll give you as much support as you would like, telling people where they can go to help. It sounds like the website would be the best way to find out. Certainly, I'm sure monetary donations would be always welcomed. And you're probably able to take some computer donations, but a little bit limited in space right now.
Yeah, we have the space for now, and we're still accepting collections, but we are also looking for volunteers, because right now we don't have the funding. So if anyone does want to volunteer their time, they can call us. And actually, I'll give the number too.
Okay, sure.
If anyone wants to contact us, it's 219-262-1054. And if they call that number, they're either going to talk to myself or they're going to talk to my husband, because right now it is just the two of us running the show. So,
and what kind of background would be appropriate for a volunteer? Do you need somebody that's tech savvy, or do you need muscle, or some other combination?
Actually, just right now we're looking for help with drives, having donation drives, so that if setting up locations and people having time to sit and collect computers, for us. And technicians, not really, they wouldn't necessarily have to have a lot of tech savvy, because we can actually train people how to connect the computers and get them up and running. So
good. Well, we'll look for progress on your website, and then also I'm sure Facebook, you probably keep status updates with the day-to-day happenings. Can people find out how to connect with you on Facebook from your website? Or should we give up that page?
There's a link there's a link to that too, but they can go to Facebook as well, facebook.com/Green Research Corp, I believe.
Well, yeah, I love it when you can just get there from the website, then you don't have to remember.
You
can always search.
You
can always search for green research, but there might be, somebody else out there. So, very cool. Well, I just love this idea, and I'm glad to have finally made your acquaintance, and was happy to have met you and your husband Mark at the last Valparaiso Green Drinks. So we certainly hope to see you around there. I'd like to just put in a plug for Green Drinks. That is something that allows us to take these green ideas off of the airwaves and on the computer and get face-to-face. So I think that's a really valuable thing in this day and age, is not to have everything happening online, but to put a date on the calendar where we come together. And so currently our Valparaiso Green Drinks is the second Monday of each month. We meet at Cornucopia Coffee from 6 to 9 p.m., and then the Michigan City Green Drinks is the third Thursday of each month, which is actually today, April 18th, at the Shoreline Brewery, and that begins at 6:30. So to check on those dates, the best thing to do is to join our email list, and you can do that at 219greenconnect.com. There is a place where you can subscribe to the list, and that's the best way to get up-to-date information. We sometimes do have special programs that change the date just a bit, and we have supplemental programs, like we'll be participating in Earth Day this Saturday, April 20th, at the Porter County Expo Center, so we hope to see a lot of people there. Stop by the booth and say hi. But anyway, the email is great. Otherwise, you can go to facebook.com/219GreenConnect and check our events tab. That will always have facebook.com/NWI Green Drinks will have specifically the Green Drinks events. And facebook.com/219GreenConnect, if you click on the event calendar, that will have many different green events throughout the region. So that includes not just Green Drinks, but also many contributors that tell us about their events going on. So in any case, I just want to say thanks again, Jennifer, for your time and for the great work that you do in the community. And I hope to hear some progress back soon. We'd love to, stay abreast of the developments.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Sure. So if you're just catching the end of it, this is Kathy Sipple with 219 GreenConnect, and I've been speaking to Jennifer Shelhart from Green Research in Valparaiso, Indiana. They recycle or reuse, I guess would be the more appropriate term, computers that would otherwise be diverted they divert them from the landfill and put them to use curing cancer, finding out all kinds of different research projects for, tell me again, BOINC. I cannot remember that. Berkeley?
Yes, Berkeley Open Infrastructure for Networked Computing, otherwise known as BOINC.
BOINC, okay. That's just I think two more words than I can remember in an acronym. But really, really fascinating and just great stuff. They do it all on green energy, so it's kind of a trifecta. It's a win-win-win, keeping waste out of the landfill that would otherwise be very dangerous for our earth and our streams and everything else that gets impacted from toxic things being buried in landfills, and using green energy, and then also doing good by curing cancer. Well, we don't want to say curing cancer, but finding a cure for cancer, doing the research for that.
Yeah,
so again, really innovative and wonderful, wonderful news. I hope this inspires some other green innovators out there to take a look at what you can do in your community. Where's a problem that needs to be solved? And instead of waiting for somebody to do it, you can take action like Jennifer did. And that's just really very, very great story. So thanks, Jennifer, and I look forward to seeing you again at Green Drinks or around Valparaiso.
Yes,
Take care.
I will be there.
Okay, sounds good. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.